Gentleman from Stanton.
Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen of the House, House Bill 76 makes instruction the priority for school spending rather than administrative overhead by ensuring that at least 65% of the school budget is directed to instruction. This bill, after its odyssey through the committees, is not as robust as it once was, but it's still meaningful and effective. I would respectfully request that we engross the bill and pass it on to third reading.
The gentleman from Henry, Mr. Armstrong.
Speaking to the bill.
Gentleman has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, my good friend from Augusta said the word compromise. I know about compromise, Mr. Speaker. About 3 months ago, we have 2 cats at our house, and my wife and kids wanted to get a third cat. And I said, no, we have 2 cats. We don't need a third cat. And my wife said, no, we need a third cat. So we compromised, and we got the cat. It seems to me, Mr. Speaker, the compromise here is that we pulled all the teeth out of this bill. Now, I sat here, as did my friends on the other side of the aisle, and heard our governor from that podium, that dais, say that we needed to put 65% of our monies towards instruction. And every one of us in here believes that the more money we put towards instruction is a good thing. But without a definition of what instructional costs and expenses are, this bill doesn't mean anything. I guess we can feel real good about ourselves that we've done that, but where's the meat in this bill? You've compromised this one down to about zero, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, would the gentleman yield?
Gentleman yield?
I'd be delighted to yield to my good friend from Augusta.
Gentleman
Mr. Speaker,
will be delighted to yield.
Mr. Speaker, I ask the gentleman from Henry if he believes that the Board of Education cannot come up with a definition on what instruction is and what instructional spending is.
I would say to the gentleman that there are some decisions that I don't think we ought to abdicate to the bureaucrats below us, and this is one.
Mr. Speaker, would the gentleman yield for a further question?
Gentleman yield.
I yield, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, would I ask the gentleman then, would he favor the original bill and the original version where we had the definition?
I would say to the gentleman that I would favor us doing a definition. I don't know that I necessarily agree with all the components contained in the original bill.
Mr. Speaker, I thank the gentleman.
The gentleman from Fairfax, Mr. Albo. Are you through? Gentleman from Henry finished?
I'm quite finished, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for asking.
I don't want to see that lie detector story again. Gentleman from Fairfax, Mr. Albo.
Speaker, speaking to the bill.
Gentleman has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, members of the House, about 5 years ago I put this bill in, and members of my friends on the other side of the aisle, they took me to the cleaners in these committees, and what they said was, specifically, and I remember it well, the General Assembly shouldn't be in the business of deciding what should be instruction and non-instruction. That is, you are not qualified to do that. Teaching professionals should do that. And the other thing that they were saying when they killed my bill at the time was that this should not be a mandate. Absolutely not a mandate in the schools. The school systems need flexibility. So fast forward to today, and a better delegate has put the bill in. He's got it actually to the House floor. And the way he did it was he compromised. And he said, well, I guess he got a good point. Us citizen legislators here, we're not really qualified to decide whether a school bus is in-class or out-of-class expense. Let's let the teaching professionals do it. And he had the teaching professionals, the Board of Education, decide what's going to be in class and out of class. And then this gentleman in the compromise said, well, maybe at this point we shouldn't mandate it. Let's just have them report. And you look at the bill and it says, if you didn't meet the guidelines, can you show us how you can approve? That's all this bill does now. It sets guidelines and asks the school systems, how can they improve to get more money in the classroom? And so it's crazy to me to hear these people say that they are against this bill all of a sudden when it solves these 2 problems. And what it makes me really realize is that they're afraid of what the report's going to say. They might be afraid to find out that my school system has cluster administrators. I don't even know what these people do. I know they don't teach any kids. What we're trying to do is we're trying to let the teaching professionals set the standards and then have the school systems report back to us so we can get more information and teaching to the kids. That's what this is about. It's a very moderate measure. It's information, and we should never be afraid of information in this body. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.